This is the next part of Audacity, and we're going to start with the file that we created in the last part where I recorded the first paragraph of A Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens. I'd just like you to listen to it as it plays. So I'm going to make sure we go to the beginning of the file, press the play button, sit back and listen. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. It was the age of wisdom, it was the age of foolishness. It was the epoch of belief, it was the epoch of incredulity. It was the season of light, it was the season of darkness. It was the spring of hope, it was the winter of despair. We had everything before us, we had nothing before us. We were all going direct to heaven, we were all going direct the other way. A Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens. Okay, now if we go to the beginning, the first point I want to point out is that there's a little sound, and it's a little intake of breath before I began to actually speak. I'm going to point to it with the cursor, and it's this little blip here. Now, if I left click the mouse button and then drag slightly to the right, I can highlight that little blip. Now I'm going to use the magnifier button here to zoom in. So this is the little sound, and when I play it you'll just hear a, well, listen. Okay, it's just a little, that's all you hear. But we don't want it. So I'm going to zoom out so I find it. I click in, hold the left mouse button down, move the whole thing to the right, release the mouse button and click on delete. Hey presto, our blip is gone. Now, if I play back over that part, you won't hear anything. Perfect. If you make a mistake, then what you can do is you can go back into Edit, top of the list, Undo, Delete. If I click on that, we will see we have our little sound back. I hope you heard that. So I'm going to remove it. Press delete, and we've taken care of that problem. Okay, I'm going to zoom out so we can see more of the file. Next thing I want you to look at is this area that I've just highlighted with this straight red line. Now, what has happened here is that the input from the mic has overwhelmed the settings. So in other words, it's peaked a little bit too high. But to sort that out, to make your recording a little less what they call hot, you would have to go into the software for the sound card of your particular computer. Then you'd have to find the microphone input, and then you just have to use the control to bring that signal level down very, very slightly. And you can only do this by trial and error. So that's the second. the third is probably the most interesting. If we require silence between the speech, all we have to do is take a small sample using the mouse left click button, hold and drag. That just gives us a highlight area of a very quiet part of the recording. Then we go into Effect, come down to Noise Removal, and then we select Get Noise Profile. Having got Get Noise Profile, we go back into Effect, back into Noise Removal, and now we hit the Preview button, and this will play back a quiet passage like we just created. If that was okay, and I see no reason why it wasn't, you then go into, click into the space, Control A, highlights the whole of the recording, back into Effect, Noise Removal, OK. And that sets that level of quietness between the speech for the whole of the recording, and it's done pretty well instantaneously. Now I'm going to come to the beginning and just play through and you might hear the difference. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. It was the age of wisdom, it was the age of foolishness. It was the epoch of belief, it was the epoch of incredulity. It was the season of light, it was the season of darkness. It was the spring of hope. It was the winter of despair. We had everything before us. We had nothing before us. We were all going direct to heaven. We were all going direct the other way. A Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens. Finally, having created a file that we've now cleaned up, we need to save it. We go to File, and here you see Save Project As, Save Compressed Copy of Project. If we choose either of the three of those options, it will save it as an Audacity project, and you won't be able to play the file back any other way than through Audacity. So rather what we need to do is we need to export the file. Click on Export. Here I'm going to record it as Audacity Demo Files number 5. So I'm just going to change that 4 to a 5. Down here, Save as Type MP3 files. I would advise you, if you are creating something that you are working on, you create it as a WAV file. This is raw data. You can play with it, change it, alter it, and only when you're happy with it, go back and save it as an MP3 file. Okay, I've already done it, so I'm going to save it as an MP3 file. Here goes. When you hit the Save button, it comes up with a tag, meta tag data. You can put in the name of yourself as the artist, the track title, album title, track number, what year, genre, audiobook. Make any comments you want, and you can put all that information. And it is used by things like iTunes. When you call up a file to play, it will tell you all those details about it. For now, we just click OK. There we are. Job accomplished. I look forward to seeing you next time.